What's up, hungry people? It's Saba here, and today we're making peanut butter pretzel millionaire shortbread. If you've never had millionaire shortbread, what it is a cookie crust with a caramel layer and chocolate on top. Our cookie crust is gonna be a peanut butter shortbread. We're gonna make a really easy caramel and then put chocolate on top and pretzels on top of that. It is so salty, sweet, peanut buttery, delicious. I'm sure you're gonna love it. As always, the recipe is gonna be in the description box below, but let's get started. So where I got the idea for this recipe is from Whole Foods. I used to go to Whole Foods and they have these little things called peanut butter jumbles that are basically millionaire shortbread just in little like kind of cupcake form. They were so incredible. So I decided to make a recipe that had all of those flavors, but way easier to make at home. So first things first, in the bowl of the stand mixer, I have butter and brown sugar. What I'm gonna do is beat it with a paddle attachment so that no lumps of brown sugar remain. So that looks pretty good. You can see that there aren't any lumps of brown sugar. The next thing in is peanut butter. I like to use crunchy peanut butter just because I like the texture of the whole peanuts, but you could use creamy if you'd like. Again, mix it. Next in is salt, vanilla, flour, and cornstarch. Again, mix it. This looks pretty good to me because I don't want to overmix it, and I'll just stir the rest by hand. So now I'm just gonna use my spatula and make sure everything is fully combined. You do not know how good this smells. I love peanut butter and it smells delicious. You could even just use that as shortbread cookies. If you chill it, you could even like punch out cookies with this dough. But we're making millionaire shortbread today. So here I have a pan lined with parchment paper. Now usually I would make this in a 9 by 9 inch pan, but I honestly have no idea where my pan went. I was searching for it, couldn't find it. So if my math is right, this is the exact same area of a 9 by 9 pan. So it's 7 by 11. Tell me if that's right, if my math is right. If you are good at math, I think I'm right. Anyways, so I'm gonna be using this pan, use a 9 by 9, use whatever you need. And I'm just going to scoop in the dough that we made and just use my fingers to press it in an even layer over the bottom of the pan. Then using a spoon, the bottom of a spoon, I like to just kind of really try to even everything out and make sure it's in one nice even layer so that our layers when we cut this shortbread look really nice. And then use a fork to poke all over. This is gonna make it so that our cookie doesn't bubble up in any places. Now this goes in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes until it's nice and lightly golden brown. And while our base is cooking, we're gonna make the caramel layer. Do you say caramel or caramel? Caramel. Caramel. In here, I have 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. To this, I'm gonna add some brown sugar. Use dark brown if you have it, but I only have light brown, so I'm gonna use that. I'm also gonna add in 2 tablespoons of corn syrup, which, again, if you have the dark corn syrup, use that. I just have the light. We want a splash of vanilla, some butter, and as always, a nice pinch of salt. This we're going to mix, stirring over medium heat until everything is melted together. We're looking for the temperature to read on a thermometer about 225 degrees. So don't walk away from this because it can burn really easily, but you can see that it's now getting a little bit thicker, which is what we want. I turned the heat down a little bit just to make sure that we don't go too hot. And you can see, because I looked away for a second, there are little bits of caramelized sugar in there, but that's okay, we'll make it work. So you can see how nice and thick this got. All right, so our cookie crust came out of the oven. It's still hot, but I just let it cool while I made the caramel. One other thing is that you can still kind of see the little bits of brown butter in there. Honestly, for me, it tastes delicious and I don't really care about it. But for you, if you don't want to see that, make sure you really pay attention to it. Because I was filming and trying to take its temperature and moderate the heat and all that stuff, I just kind of blanked out for a second and the edges just browned a little bit with the butter. It doesn't taste any different. It tastes delicious still, but honestly, if you don't see those little flecks of brown butter, just pay attention to it. So if you had been diligent, you wouldn't have to do this, but I wasn't, so I'm going to do this. I'm gonna use a little sieve and get the lumps out of my caramel that way. So I'm gonna start with a little bit. And now we just spread it evenly to the sides. Go all the way to the edges. Okay, do not do that. So the reason why I left that in there is because I tried to use my finger to scrape the caramel off of the spoon without even thinking about it. And then I literally almost burnt my finger off because that sugar was so hot. But I'm fine, no worries. Just for you, don't do it. Anyway, so our caramel layer is now on our cookie, and we're gonna let this cool for a little bit and then put the melted chocolate and the pretzels on. So now that our cookie and caramel has cooled down a little bit, about 10-15 minutes, what I'm gonna do is melt some chocolate with some milk in the microwave until it's really nice and smooth and creamy and melted. Now for the pretzels. Yes, I already started snacking on these. Don't come at me for that. But I thought I was getting little mini pretzels, which would look really cute on top of this. But actually what I was feeling was a bag of broken pretzels like this. So I'm still gonna use this just because I don't wanna waste anything. If you are doing this with mini pretzels, you can put the chocolate layer on and then put the mini pretzels right on top and kind of use that as like portioning sizes. It looks really cute. You just put a little mini pretzel where you want one square to be another mini pretzel, so on and so forth. Because I'm using these bigger pretzels, what I don't want to happen is for the pretzels to go on top of the chocolate, and then when I try to cut it, the pretzels tend to just come off. So what I'm gonna do is put the pretzels between the chocolate and the caramel. So like I said, for these bigger pretzels, I'm simply gonna lay them right in between the chocolate and the caramel and kind of press it in too. So now that I have all those pretzels in there, I'm just gonna give it a little push down to get them a little bit more embedded in there. Oh my God, how delicious does that look? So you can see now I've melted the chocolate. This is gonna go right on top, like so. And working quickly, I'm gonna spread everything to the edges. And then I'm also just gonna put a couple flakes of fancy salt on top. And now we have to let this completely cool so we can cut it and get nice slices. So here is our millionaire shortbread out of the fridge. Hopefully it's cooled down enough. You wanna make sure that that chocolate is hard. I'm gonna use a nice sharp knife and cut small squares. You see those layers? Oh yeah. I think running your knife under hot water before the cuts makes it so that you can get through the chocolate a little bit easier without it shattering. And I think the easiest way to cut them is actually to cut them upside down. I'm going for long sticks here, like that. But you can cut them into any shape that you'd like. And they are a little bit crumbly, but that's okay. So turn it upside down. Like that. All right, so our little millionaire shortbreads are done. Can you see that? You can see every single layer there. I'm so excited. And the cookie is a little bit crumbly, so if I get it all over myself, I already told you. Well, despite all the sweet things that we put in here, I don't think it's overly sweet. It's definitely rich, but not overly sweet. You can taste the salt on top, and from the pretzel, you can taste the pretzel. This caramel layer is so delicious and just soft, and it just like melts in your mouth. I told you I was gonna drop some. Those were like next level Twix. If you wanna make these, like I said earlier, the recipe is gonna be in the description box below. But thanks for coming and cooking with me again. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.